Most more progress has been made here. This is the rear end off of that Bronco. Just took the leaf springs down, and that'll get rehabbed at a later date. But the whole reason for doing that is trying to get the frame stripped so it can get blasted and primed. So here's the front end here, and it's been taken out of the vehicle, of course, too, and I don't think it's leaking that terribly bad, but we'll find out. Disc brakes, so that needs a little work. And then the rest of the frame is sitting here, and did a little power washing and stuff like that, but nothing too serious.
They are that heavy.
Okay, so here's the 9-inch. Got it blasted down, and then shot it with a little just primer, but there's sand everywhere in it, but that's okay. Get all cleaned up and put some paint on it. Okay, so here's the chassis back on the lift here. It went out for a blast really quick, and then got a primer coat as well. So you can see some of Ford's 1976 factory welding. Just some real beauties there, but that's okay. It'll work for what we're doing. No major dentage type things going on, so that's good. Okay, so the front axle is back from paint, or prime, I guess, and looks good enough anyway. So we're gonna have to get this thing out of here. It's pretty heavy, and reunited with the chassis. Alright, so a little more progress has been made on the Bronco. Used this Eastwood coating, sprayed it on, and looks really good actually. The like kind of orange peeliness or whatever, that is basically what the blasted surface looks like. So I mean, you can see a spot where it, you know, laid out pretty nice. So not really all that shiny or anything, and so now it's on to brake lines and prepping the rest of the chassis now. The front end got sprayed too, but looks good. Some parts that come in for the Bronco. First of all, the front end was basically good, or at least we're supposing that it was pretty good. He's getting brake lines set up here. Then also he got a 2.5-inch lift from Wild Horses. And anyway, so there's the coil springs in the front, the new leaves for the back, the bushings for the radius arms, new shocks, U-bolts, and I assume the pieces for the ends of the leaf springs. So he's gonna have to get started on that. That's gonna be quite the chore, but that'll be nice to have it be a roller, so I can at least move around the shop. But some pretty nice pieces, really. Wild Horses has their mark all over these, which that's cool. Well, the leaf springs showed up in the mail, but when they send leaf springs, they don't put them in a box or anything. So they just have tape wrapped around them and drug around the floor of the UPS truck and wherever else. So they're all beat up. So looks like we got a nice Fresh coat of at least primer on there. I assume paint will follow, but yeah, looks a lot better. We got the leaf springs on there, and the shocks just hung by the bolts there. And then the radius arms got put on there with new bushings right here. These rubbers for the radius arms are on there. Anyway, looks good. Looks a lot better than it did, that's for sure. The radius arms in the front end are put on now. Got the new springs in. I know some of the pieces on the axle had to be sandblasted and cleaned up a little bit, so it looks like brakes is getting worked on right now. So brakes and the hubs. Well, got the front end all mounted up. Got those Wild Horses springs on there. The front end didn't need too much. Need new bearings and hubs, I believe. But looks good. Manual lockouts, obviously. Steering stabilizer's on. All the steering's all done. Minus the steering box, I guess. The rear end is installed now. That was taken off to a shop, and they went over everything, made sure everything looked good, and then also installed a locker for that rear end. So now it's not an open rear end like what it was. It's still the same 350 gear ratio, I believe is what it is. So that is now in the chassis here, and we have a nice little roller so we can move around the shop and kind of get things into a better position. So for now, that's going to be it. But thanks for watching.